Hi everyone, I'm Jeff Munroe from Middlebury, still at it with the Collector's Tour in the fall of 2024. Yesterday I was at Dust 15 in the Independence Mountains in northern Nevada, and now I am with Dust Collector number 11 in the spectacular Ruby Mountains, also in Nevada. And the weather's definitely changing. It's blustery and cold up on the ridge here today. When I visit Dust 11, any of the collectors really, but particularly here, I'm struck by the question, how has the critical zone here and the dust system within the critical zone changed over time? And when I look at the landscape, I can tell things here have changed quite a bit. So I have the camera on wide angle to try to show this. 18,000 years ago, which is a long time, but not a long time geologically, there was a glacier in the valley right behind my right shoulder. And out here in the lower valley, which you can just see off to the other direction, there was a massive lake covered about 1,000 square kilometers, where now there's just kind of isolated ponds and mostly mudflat. We don't have a time machine, so we can't go back and see what it was like right here at that point in the past. But the classic solution for that problem is, well, if you want to know what the dust system is like and how the critical zone operates on a windswept ridge right next to a glacier, then go someplace in the world where there's a windswept ridge right next to a glacier and see what it's like today. And take your findings from that modern location and use them to help understand what was going on in the past at a different location. It's an elegant, simple, tried and true method. The challenge, of course, is that it requires studying as many different places as possible in order to build up this library of modern analogs for essentially the whole range of possible past conditions. In the context of the critical zone research, the good news is that people are studying the critical zone in places all around the world. It's not just a United States phenomenon, that's for sure. There's a tremendous amount of critical zone science going on in other countries. The less good news is that up until now, there hasn't really been a mechanism to try and formally bring all of these different critical zone research components together in any kind of integrated way. So with that in mind, I'm really excited about a new project that I'm starting this fall, which is funded by the National Science Foundation AccelNet program. AccelNet is an abbreviation for a program designed to accelerate the building of networks at the international scale. That's pretty clumsy, but the basic idea of AccelNet is simple and easy to understand. It's to prioritize collaboration in place of competition. Wouldn't it be great if all of these different critical zone communities around the world were at least aware of what one another were doing, and maybe even were working together at some integrated level rather than maybe unintentionally being redundant and so on. So I'll be running this program starting this fall. It's called CZNON for Critical Zone Network of Networks, and I will be joined in leading it by Beth Boyer from Penn State and Bhavna Aurora from Livermore. And the three of us, along with collaborators from existing critical zone networks in Germany and in France and in Sweden, will be kind of taking this thing forward and trying to set up a framework for dialogue or conversation among the different critical zone research groups that are active around the world. To be clear, I and my team has no grand idea of exactly how this should look. We just want to provide the platform and the structure in which all of the existing critical zone research communities in those countries and in many more can come into contact with one another, can talk to one another, can share what they're doing, and can be involved in a conversation to craft maybe one vision for what a future of international critical zone research could look like. I'm really excited to see which direction this goes. And I will mention right here, since I'm talking to the camera, if you're a student, if you're a full professor, if you're anywhere in between, if you're doing critical zone science or you're doing something related to critical zone science, and this sounds of interest to you, if you'd like to know how you could be involved, if you'd like to just be kept appraised of what we're doing, if you'd like to be informed, please reach out to me. If this video sent off into the internet results in a couple of people contacting me and saying that they'd like to know more about how to connect with CZNON, that would be a huge win here on this blustery, cold October day. So I'm going to get to work emptying Dust 11. I thank you as always for tuning in and watching this video. Please get in touch if you're curious about participating in CZNON in any way. Thanks to the Humboldt-Toyabe National Forest for permission to put Dust 11 here, and thanks to the National Science Foundation for their support of Dust Squared and also of our new AccelNet CZNON project. Thanks so much.